Hey everybody, welcome back. This is lesson 6 of growing in trust, and this is a super critical, important lesson. This lesson is on the power of no. There is so much power in your no. You think that there's power in your yes, but there is so much more power in your no. When I was, in case you don't know, all of these programs, all of the Unmoved courses are based off of my own experiences after I'd gone through a very devastating relationship with a narcissist. I had to completely rebuild my life. I had nothing from my previous life. I didn't have my old job. I had nothing. And so I had to really take a look and say, like, what am I doing? You know, I had to really reevaluate everything that I was doing in my own personal life. So while I was doing this, I came across a book called Boundaries, and I mention it in the PDF. As I was reading it, the author says, if you can't say no, you shouldn't say yes. And that hit me so hard. It was like, wow, I see that there were so many times in this, specifically in this relationship that I'm talking about with the narcissist, that I would just say yes because I didn't want an argument, when in reality, that alone was a red flag. That alone was a red flag that, hey, this relationship is not healthy. This is not an okay relationship. And if you cannot say no, you should not say yes. And until you have the internal fortitude to stand up and say no to somebody, you should not say yes to them. And you have to make that commitment to yourself. Again, these courses are all about the internal work that needs to take place so that your outer world can be healthy. You have to internally be able to say no to yourself or no to this person, you know, when you know that it's not going to benefit you. You have to be able to do that. If you don't do that, you're not going to be able to move forward. You're not going to be able to move into the next season and ultimately complete your destiny. Okay, so a lot of people think that saying no is rude, and we don't want to be rude, so we always say yes. And actually, you are teaching people a lot about how you respect yourself, how you respect your time, your family, and other obligations that you have going on in your life by what you say yes to and what you say no to. And so I just really want to encourage you to take a look at that thought from a different perspective. When you say yes to something all of the time, what are you actually saying? What are you actually teaching your kids? What are you actually teaching the person that you're saying yes to? If you have a boss who consistently asks you to stay late and you always say yes, guess what? You're not earning respect with him. You're not earning anybody's respect. Nobody thinks, oh, look at that person, they're such a hard worker. No, they think, that person always says yes, let's use them to get them to do more things. And so you've got to be able to say no from a place of strength and not view it as a place of weakness. The other thing is that you're going to view, the more and more times that you're just saying yes to everything that comes up, you become the tail of that situation. So in other words, instead of you taking control and time working for you, you are now at the mercy of everybody else's time, because you got to say yes to this, you got to say yes to this, and it's just like everybody else schedules your time for you. And one of the things that I work on with my clients, I'm a life coach, that I have them do is I tell them to stop saying I don't have time for that or I can't afford that. You tell people, I'm not willing to make that a priority. You are going to start feeling a shift internally. You are going to start feeling so empowered, so in control of your life, so in control of your own time, your own destiny. And these things are really important to your identity, to your self-worth, to your own value. And of course, whatever inside gets projected on the outside. So when that is established inside, people are going to start paying you more respect. You're going to start seeing that the people that you need to have in your life are going to be attracted to you. They're going to start coming to you. They're going to start forming strong bonds with you and helping you to get to where you need to go. And that's ultimately what you want. And so it's worth it to sacrifice a little bit of hardship in the meantime while you're trying to get used to saying no to stuff. Ultimately to have the kind of life that you want. Otherwise, you're just going to always have your mother-in-law showing up unannounced, getting the kids all off schedule. You're going to always be staying late. You're always going to be just doing what other people want and not setting up the life that you were meant to live. You need to be the one in control of that. You have to learn to say no to things. The other thing is that you're going to find the same situations repeating themselves over and over and over until you learn to say no, because you are going to face the same tests in life again and again until you can pass them. And so if you still find the same situations that they just seem to always happen to you, like this always happens to me, again, remember always and never, inner vows. When you say that, when you find these things are happening, you gotta stop. You gotta stop. God is trying to get your attention. You have to take a look at what is going on. Okay, what do I need to change so that I can pass this test and move on and I don't have to deal with this again? And until you get that straightened out internally, you're going to keep facing those same issues again and again. So in this week's reflections and exercises, I want you to take a really good look at what you're saying yes to, what you're saying no to, how these line up with the season of life that you're in, how they line up with your overall destiny, how they line up with the kinds of people that you need to have in your life right now, how this affects your boundaries. Do you have them? Can you appropriately set them and enforce them with people? What are you saying yes to unnecessarily? You got to take a look at what's actually happening inside your own world so that you can get that sorted out. Please take your time to go through these exercises and reflections, and I will see you in lesson 7.